Hey, are you fascinated by fungus, mesmerized by mycelium, and stimulated by saprophyte? Have you ever taken a few too many magic mushrooms and found yourself doing the cha-cha slide with a couple myconids?
Mushroom dance, whatever could it mean? It means you've lived a life of sin.
Well, congratulations! You might be a Spores Druid. But what is a Spores Druid? Well, scatter a couple animal carcasses in the yard, see if you can cover up the smell of rotten decay, and create a surprisingly tasty, high-protein superfood.
What is the vegetable that's so low in calories? What makes the salad come alive? Fried with some butter or even on a barbecue, the one that's got the taste you can't hide. Mushrooms, the taste for all seasons. Mushrooms, got a taste of their own.
Everything dies eventually. That's it, that's the end of the video. I just wanted to make y'all sad. Bye! No, but for real, the cycle of growth and decay is true for any environment, even our magical ones told in tabletop sessions with rolls of dice. And yeah, the thought of this may be scary for many. Hell, some people, wizards, are so narcissistic, wizards, that they invented entire schools of magic to try to avoid dying altogether. Fucking lich-ass wizards. But not everybody is so opposed to the idea of death. Many actually see it as the next and natural step in the continuation of the circle of life. Stop that before we get sued. You see, the Spores Druid understands that life is its own type of magic and never really leaves us. And although shapes and function may change, life has continued living in this loop for millions of years. So when a Spores Druid buries their best friend Todd, they may miss him dearly, but will know in their soul that Todd's body has become food for the earth, which in turn creates new life in a new form. And we always knew Todd was a fun guy. The Spores Druid even has a lax outlook on the undead, seeing them again as another form of life that just needs to be respected. Which kinda makes sense. I mean, who made zombies? Are they really that bad just because they have a hankering for brains? Sometimes they're even kinda cute in a weird— Oh God! Kill with fire! Sorry. But not all undead fit this mold, and those who choose undeath to avoid their natural end will quickly be added to the top of the pile to feed our mushroom garden. But first, sometimes a couple of magic items just aren't enough. And when you get the need to outbling a dragon with a mountain of dope stuff, you can always rely on Falko's Vault of Wonders. Falko's Vault of Wonders include 240 new items spread over 11 themed decks, carefully crafted by the ancient sorcerers themselves, and contains magic weapons, wondrous items, cursed relics, and incredible artifacts. And with so many options, you can use these decks again and again in any campaign setting. But I hear you asking already, what could be in this wonderful vault of stuff? Well, might I interest you in the Soul Render Scythe to take care of those pesky goblins? Or the Liber Examino if you're in the mood for a little spellcasting? Or maybe we should do some gambling with our Liar's Dice, or train a dragon and ride it into battle with the Transmuting Saddle. With so much potential, you'll never run out of new ways to entertain your players, but act now before it's too late and become one of the very first to back Falko's Vault of Wonders over on Kickstarter, and unlock rewards like the Magnetic Treasure Set, Inspiration Tokens, and much more. So hit the link in the description and unlock Falko's Vault of Wonders today, and tell them Yumba sent ya. A big thanks to Dungeon Decks for sponsoring the show, and now, back to the video. So you need to learn the secrets of turning bad guys into mulch and how to get away with it. Well, to do that, you need to start out as a druid. Druids are incredibly powerful natural spellcasters in the world of D&D, so of course we start out with a little bit of spellcasting. But we aren't your regular everyday sorcerers, as we have the power of nature and anime on our side, which allows us to access the entire druid spell list and choose our favorites at the start of each day. And we're going to be talking a lot about spells here in a minute, so we might as well do it in Druidic, which is a language known only to druid circles and trees probably, but also allows you to converse with other druids from all over the world or read messages left by them. Like where a local squirrel village might be, so you can ask for directions. But you're not a squirrel. Or are you? Well, at the very least, we can wild shape into a squirrel at 2nd level, so you can have plenty of conversations about these nuts.
Got him!
But also transform into beasts of a certain challenge rating depending on your druid level. And while this ability may not be the focus of this subclass, it's always an insane backup to have just in case you're facing down a horde of monsters and need to smack the bear button to tear through orcs like a hot knife through butter. But it's of course still 2nd level where we enter our druidic circle, and would you look at that, there's a fungus among us. And as our body becomes entwined with the rot and decay of the forest floor, we take on new powers, like the Halo of Spores, which creates an invisible cloud of necrotic spores in a 10-foot circle around you, and allows you to spend your reaction to deal a d4 of necrotic damage to any creature that starts their turn in the Halo, providing they fail a Constitution save. This damage increases as we level up to a d6, d8, and d10 at levels 6, 10, and 14, but more than anything acts as a fart cloud of microscopic mushroom seeds that fight on your behalf, proving that whoever smelt it did indeed dealt it. But it wouldn't be a mushroom party if someone didn't get a little weird. And with our symbiotic entity, we allow the spores to overtake us and create something totally new. Ooh, oh no, that is the wrong spore. Actually, I was thinking more like a hardcore mushroom warrior, gaining 4 extra temporary hit points for each level we take as a spore druid, dealing double damage with your Halo of Spores, and adding an extra d6 necrotic damage to all your melee attacks while in this form. You can become a mushroom master of Feng Fu by spending 1 use of your wild shape, which means you can do this twice a day for 10 minutes, and it recharges on a short rest, though you will fall out early if you lose all the temporary hit points gained from the ability. But hot damn, does this make me want to eat some mold in my shower and see if I gain any spore-like superpowers. But while we're waiting on the ambulance, we can talk about some spore druid spells like Chill Touch, one of the stupidest names for a cantrip, but allows you to make a ranged necrotic attack against a creature and prevent them from regaining hit points for a round, as well as Blindness, Deafness, and Gentle Repose at 3rd level to stuff the eyes or ears of any target with spores and cause them to lose that sense for a minute, or touch a dead body and prevent it from decaying or becoming undead for 10 days.
Hey kids, want to see a dead body?
Well, I guess you're gonna, because we also get Animate Dead at level 5, allowing us to create a zombie out of our spores and send anyone who pisses us off through one of the most terrifying levels in The Last of Us.
Jesus.
And Gaseous Form to turn into a cloud of mist, or in your case, spores probably, and fly around or squeeze through tiny cracks. Now, here's a hot tip. You ready? If you're fighting a zombie army and need to infiltrate unseen, just cast Animate Dead on a corpse you find to make your own, and then Gaseous Form to hide up its little butt crack. Then all you have to do is tell it where to go, and you can sneak in no problem. I call this the zombie butt Trojan horse. Don't Google zombie butts. But this becomes even easier at level 6 as we learn to create a fungal infestation, letting you essentially cast the Animate Dead spell as a reaction, so that's pretty cool. This version does only have 1 hit point and lasts for 1 hour, however you can use this ability a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, so as soon as an enemy goon hits the dirt, it can pop right back up under your control and swing back at its buddy. 7th level gets us 2 new spells with Blight to do a butt ton of necrotic damage, especially if we target a tree. Trees, as well as Confusion to force any creature to experience whatever trips we go on after one too many of our little, thingies, and possibly force them to attack their allies or do nothing at all as they try to figure out why their hands are so weird, man. But shaking that off at level 9, we pick up Cloud Kill to create a huge 20-foot radius of toxic spores that deal 5d8 poison damage on a failed con save to anyone caught in the cloud, as well as Contagion to do a number of effects, the main one being just actually making the enemy sick. You can also choose any disease from blindness, fever that weakens the body, rot that makes them vulnerable to all damage, mind fire to mess with their head and cause confusion, seizure, oh Jesus, to make them fail dex checks and saves, and slimy doom, ew, to make them bleed uncontrollably and become stunned if they take any damage. Holy shit. I guess fortunately for them, the creature does have to fail 3 con saves before they succeed 3 con saves, which means it could take a while for this spell to take effect, but some of these are just like super mean. Bleed uncontrollably? What is wrong with you, you sick mushroom maniac? I love it. Do it to the lich. So bouncing our happy butts up to level 10, we upgrade a little bit with our Spreading Spores. Now as a bonus action while in our symbiotic entity, we can yeet our cloud of spores 30 feet away and make any creature in a 10-foot cube take our halo damage on a failed con save. This does force us to give up the halo around us for a little bit, but using this fart cloud as a weapon is absolutely fine by me. And our final Spores Druid ability is the Fungal Body, giving us a beautiful mushroom tip. Moving on. but actually lets us just become that much more in tune with our shrooms. Gaining immunity from being blinded, deafened, frightened, or poisoned, and critical hits no longer affect us, not unless you're already unconscious. But finally, we wrap up with Timeless Body and Beast spells at 18th level, so we no longer need to worry about aging and can cast spells while in wild shape. But I don't think we're going to be using the bear feature that much when we can just hang out as Toad all day. And 20th level makes us an Archdruid, meaning we can wild shape an infinite number of times, as well as ignore verbal, somatic, and material components for spells, which is pretty damn busted on a high-level spellcaster. But does the Spores Druid break the mold? Oh yeah, dude, this shit slaps hard. Incredibly, the Spores Druid almost goes far enough in the martial direction with your symbiotic entity that this could make for a pretty solid Gish given the right build. And gaining 4 temporary hit points for each level is crazy, since that makes 80 temporary hit points twice a short rest by level 20. But like many other classes, you also have the ability to bring companions on your journey. Yours just happen to be a little more shroomy and a lot more dead. And while this might not sound like much, turn economy can make or break fights in 5e for sure. Go watch my Shepherd Druid video for more on that. But even with all this cool stuff, you might think the Spores Druid doesn't have much room to separate itself from the pack. But I think the combination of spells and ability for this subclass work incredibly well together. And while your abilities in the late game aren't really as flashy, this also gives you the chance to multi-class if you want, with the Swarmkeeper Ranger being like, right there, man. Just sub in bees for tiny shrooms and you really could make a super solid martial magic abomination just like this subclass's namesake. God damn it, I said that's the wrong spore. So if you feel right at home with the smell of dead bodies, can hurl a fart cloud better than anyone I know, and got kicked out of multiple taverns for talking way too much about your favorite mushroom, guess what? You might be a Spores Druid. Hey guys, as always, thanks so much for watching. I was going to try to think of another Spore joke, but I guess I'll just tell a funny story about the Spore video game. I genuinely used to love this game for forever, but there was a feature in the original Spore where you could connect your account on multiple computers, almost like a Minecraft server, and in college, me and a few buddies got obsessed with both Minecraft and Spore during our downtime. But this one friend also became insanely terrified of Slender Man stuff that was happening at the time for some reason. So, as a good friend, I pranked him by creating a bunch of horrific-looking Slenderman creatures and sprinkling them all over his planet. That way, when he got to the animal stage of Spore, he was being chased by the one and only Slenderman. Actually, herds of them, but you get the point. Anyway, dumb pranks aside, if you're seeing this, I cannot thank you enough for watching. You have no idea how far a like, comment, or subscription goes to push us in the algorithm. If you want to be like these awesome people on screen, you can hop over to the Patreon and support the channel for just $1, with the highest tiered patrons getting games DM'd by me. And an extra special thanks to Tedsy, Miles Nyard, Sora Sen, King Osiris, and Spider Lover. You guys are the best. For more shenanigans and silly stories, come see me over on the Discord server. But until then, gang, thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you very soon.